Sweet. And we should be live. Look at that beauty. Alright, we should be going live. Let's make sure. Alright. Sweet. I think this is working. Hey, welcome. Sounds like, can you hear me? Should be able to hear me. Let's make sure everything works. Good to see you from Texas. I'm an AZ man, so also enjoying the blistering heat. So, well, cool. I actually got Kyle here today, but we'll just be hanging out, playing the game, chatting. So we're gonna do some gaming. Good to have everybody. Thanks, Geeky Sama. Thanks, guys. Good to have you. No, it'd be fun. The plan is I want to do a lot more streaming. Right now, a little bit more chill, probably just once a week, but I want to start doing a couple times. I want to be doing some streaming that's like very from something that could be like just screwing around, playing fun games, to potentially events to help developers, all sorts of things. But for now, just pretty chill, play a game, play my game, talk about it, have fun. So anyways, but with that being said, yeah, we're gonna jump in, play some rounds. I'm gonna have Kyle join me, and we're gonna play just a little bit of Fallen Worlds, which is our game. So, Kyle, jump on in, man. I just loaded it up.
Right on.
So, cool. Well, it's good to have everybody. I'm trying to think of. I know Kyle. He was just in jury duty yesterday, which is pretty crazy. But we're gonna do. Actually, gonna do Infestation 1. Let's see. So this is like, out of all the levels, we got Tutorial Corruption, 1, 2, 3, and then Infestation. But yeah, if you guys got games, I want to be playing. I've been playing Elden Ring on my own and getting stomped. But if you guys have certain games you want me to play, it'd be fun to hear. And then I've also, if any of you guys are making your own games, I want to start playing a lot more indie games from our community. But let's see. Ice Crater, Frost. I'm probably gonna go gold. Let me know when you got yours, Kyle. But
Gotta
yeah,
decide between gold or healing on when I hit mini bosses.
Yeah, so I'm going gold. So basically, you can see quests right over here. More quests you get. No, I haven't tried 9 Souls. I'll have to try it out. I don't know if I've ever seen it before. It doesn't come to mind. Let's see. 9. Let me pull it up.
I'm ready.
Oh, 1 sec. I was just looking up 9 Souls. No, I haven't tried this out. What's a 2D platformer? It's got really, dude, it's good looking though. It's really pretty art. Are we in? Cool. Yeah, I'll have to try it out. I've played a few 2D platformers, but here, let's go Forest. Yeah, Hollow Knight inspired. I've played Hollow Knight. I've played a little bit of Shovel Knight, which I know isn't necessarily the exact same, but played a lot of those. And sometimes, dude, I get a little platformed out, but I'm much more of a co-op player is always my preferred, unless it's like Elden Ring's been super fun. So I usually prefer co-op games or, you know, really like competitive games. Really like, so that's kind of the reason why, you know, this game's co-op. We wanted to make our game co-op, right? So I have a little bias that way, but yeah, I'll have to try it out. I really liked Hollow Knight. Yeah, I'm hoping that I kind of want to do this thing where I again stream more, but from that I'd like to have people tell me kind of what indie games I should be trying out. So I wanna try out a bunch of ones I haven't heard of. Cool. I don't know those. I know Soul's Mask. That sounds familiar. So I'm gonna go up. So if you see on this map, this is kind of the sweet mercy. Got a shrine up here. Yeah, I've been playing a few different games. I was actually playing. I shouldn't forget the name. It's the... What's the one? Lighthouse. Nope. Firewatch. There we go. Firewatch. I'm playing Firewatch a bunch. That one's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have ever tried that one out. That one's been a lot of fun. Normally I don't necessarily... I didn't think I'd love narrative games, but I've been like really enjoying Firewatch. But... Alright, so we're gonna start at this shrine. Get completely bombarded. Oh, cool. No, I've never tried Pizza Bandit either. Man, I need a... You love Firewatch? Yeah, dude. Firewatch. That has been actually really cool. Yeah, that's been fun. The writing in it is really good. It's actually really good writing, which, you know, so, ooh. You good? Can I res you? Let's see. Sit my little ice cool. But yeah, no, the writing in Firewatch is beyond surprising. Sometimes narrative games can be really good, but sometimes they can be pretty cheesy. And so that was interesting. I've been enjoying that one. Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's been mostly I've been playing Elden Ring lately, but oh, cool. I'll have to check it out. I play a lot more games lately. You know, I play games. I've always played games, a lot of games. But like, since doing YouTube stuff, I probably played a lot less games before. I played a lot more games, and then when you're working 60 hours a week, you play a lot less games than you'd like, and now I get to play a lot more games again, which is awesome. But yeah, I definitely prefer... I love co-op games. You know, that's why I really like... I mean, that's why I like this, but Dwarves in Space, which always avoids me, the name. Dwarves in Space, Kyle.
It means Deep Rock Galactic.
Deep Rock Galactic. Dwarves in Space. Always enjoyed that one. Been playing a lot of Helldivers still. You know, the video that just came out. That we just did. I say we. But the video I just did. But... So that's been a lot of fun. I'm trying to think what else. That's like that's the one thing I always wish, like more indie games, like they just did more multiplayer, right? More co-op specifically. Oh, you can only see the menu screen? Oh, that sucks. That's good to know. Okay, let's fix that right now. All right, let's change this up. Ooh, how about now? Yeah, I've been playing. That's crazy. Can you see it now? Let's see. You should be seeing it now. Cool. That was ridiculous. Well, there you go. I'm just talking about the game we're playing that you can't see. Could you hear the music at all? I wonder if you were stuck on the... I don't know how it got stuck on the main menu. But there you go. Well, you got to experience the main menu for a solid few minutes. The beauty of it. But yeah, here we go. So this is the forest world. You can kind of see trees, the grass, of all these little details. The Ice Mage, we're actually going to be changing her up, but yeah, you could hear the game. What's up, Clap? Dab you. Yeah, I was just basically talking like you guys could see the game for a solid 5 minutes. Probably more on. But yeah, so if you guys saw us playing the game last week, if not, dude, welcome. Good to have you. So this is our game, Fallen Worlds. Now that you can actually see the game. So this is a game my studio and I have been working on for before we even started the YouTube channel. I mean, that was part of the reason why I started the YouTube channel was, long story short, like tons of devs didn't know a lot about business. I come from, you know, startup world, raised money to, you know, started software company to, you know, studio, whatever it is. And yeah, long story short, wanted to talk a lot more about like what actually is happening, what's going on. And so yeah, we actually been working on this game for a lot longer than since we started the channel, since I started the channel. So we've been working on this game, but yeah, kind of looks like League, right? Yeah. So the inspiration, you know, we love the world, you know, Warcraft games, love that style. So it's very much kind of in that realm of Warcraft and League and stuff like that, kind of taking from that. But no, dude, I played a lot of League. I was playing League actually a few months ago, a bunch, and I was getting so pissed. So I do not play League anymore, except when I'm feeling like I want to get a little angry. But I actually play a lot more Heroes of the Storm. Crazy enough. But yeah, no, it's good. It's good looking. Love this style. It's very it's always, I don't know, it works, right? World of Warcraft still works. Warcraft still works 25 years later. So, did you already buy your stuff?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool. So these games, so this is like a dungeon crawler. So it's like Diablo. Let's like simplify it, right? It's Diablo meets a roguelite, right? So you do your own build and you do 3 acts, at least in our game, multiple acts, where you kind of fight through an act and then you fight a boss. That's what we're doing right now. And so I'm an Ice Mage. Kyle, who's with me on this stream, who's, you know, he's helping. He's the main developer of the game, right? We work together, but he's also dead. And I'm trying to live and res him at the same time. But anyways, so I was able to res him. But basically, you fight through multiple waves, and then you fight a boss, and then that's kind of, in essence, the game, right? Like, you go through. So now he's gonna try to res me. But yeah, basically, it's if you ever played Diablo or how'd you die?
Ate a lot of damage while I was resing you. Oh.
Good hell. Well, we died. But basically, that's the game. Is we didn't even make it through the first act, so can't really show you the other acts. But this is our starting area. So here you start. You can actually go look over the side, but you start. So usually what you do is you go to the portal. You pick kind of your difficulty, and that, plays into what you get from it, the loot. And so, we have different characters right now. We only have 2 characters that are playable, but we'll be adding the Treant, Fire Mage. Time comes, and then you equip yourself with runes. You upgrade them, whatever it is, to make the runs better. A bunch of stuff. You can even like adjust your appearance, not necessarily of your character, but even like the appearance. Here, let's see. So like if you go to appearance and I do my little swirl, which is one of my abilities, I can actually change the swirl to be whatever colors I want. So the end game, so right now it's pretty simplistic, right? The game is just a couple acts, right? So you go, there's a couple different maps you fight on that are randomly generated. And then, you do an act, you fight a boss, do an act, fight a boss that's harder, do an act, fight a boss, and you're basically building up your talents, right? And so there's a meta progression that you have through runes, that you have, right, through upgrading. So end loot, yeah, so like the loot is you're getting better and better runes, right? So there's like common, uncommon, rare. So the loot is, right now it's pretty right now it's just we have runes. We don't do loot like Diablo where it's like all these different swords and stuff. Oh, dude, my cam is wigging. Is that better? Is that fixed? Should be fixed. But yeah, so the loot is pretty straightforward. I don't know, Kyle, you got any thoughts on that I missed?
Yeah, basically it's the runes. The higher difficulty, the more rare rune you can get, which will have more affixes, basically more effects on it, and then you can upgrade those runes based on the difficulty you got them from. So you can kind of specialize what you want from your runes, and then there will be other things we're going to put in, like the intellect tree. We're going to rework and add a few other things that you can unlock. It'll be more like a character talent tree kind of thing.
Yeah, like you can, I'm showing it up on here. So, and then there's things where you can like upgrade the items that you get in game. So there's multiple things that like it, and there's right now, let's see, do you have, right, I've only beaten up until Infestation 1, but you basically unlock higher and higher difficulties, and so you basically get better and get better, more runes, right, all that stuff. Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for 100k subs. And yeah, so like that's kind of what the end game looks like. So anyways, so that's pretty straightforward, but it's by the way, feedback. We the goal is feedback. And Kyle, if you want to start up, we can get it going.
Yeah.
But yeah, any feedback that right now, so we're in that early stage where the game is there, it's working. You can go try it out, by the way. Demo, free, on our Steam page. Go try it out. Let us know. Give us some feedback. But the idea is to get feedback as much as possible. So right now, right, like anything you guys got, be awesome. But yeah, anyway, so that's, I think, the quick and dirty of kind of the late game progression. And then there's a bunch of maps. So we'll probably just go, we can go desert map. And so each map, if you saw, I should have sat there for a little bit longer, but like each map has like different benefits and boons and stuff like that, right? All that stuff. So it's like if you want to do certain quests, it's better to maybe go on certain maps, and maybe certain ones are harder, they drop more gold. And then the maps are all generated, right? So just if you look up here, it's like the mini map, but it changes every time. So every time you go to play, it's a different layout. Right now it's, you know, you can kind of see it's a straight lane, then it's going to go and curve up. So every time you play, it changes. It's pretty fun. But, and it looks like on this one, the events that we have currently, we hope to have a lot more of these, as we got this guy, this glowing little guy, big guy. So he's the Reaper, and so he'll just pop in sometimes. But yeah, so that's I think, I'm trying to think what else, but so we only have right now 2 characters that work, planned for 4 characters at launch. You can play up to 4 characters, 4 people at the same time. So that's kind of the idea. The game can't be played alone, but the goal, right? The kind of the idea is to play with buddies. So yeah. So that's kind of that's what we've been working on. It's one of the reasons why I started the channel in the first place. I think, as I was saying to some of you, is, you know, we've been doing game dev for a while as a side project, right? So I do a variety of things, but do a few different businesses. But one of them is we started a studio, Kyle and I, who's on stream with me. But you did.
Yeah.
Oof. He hits like a truck. But yeah, one of the core reasons why I even started the channel in the first place is just realized so many people didn't know much about business and game dev and stuff like that. So yeah, so that was kind of the inspiration. But games looking real smooth. Yeah, I was made in Unreal, specifically Unreal 4, just because I know Unreal 5. Well, I think we built this or started building it before Unreal 5 came out, right? But yeah. I mean, I'm trying to remember. There's a couple other reasons why we chose Unreal. Kyle, do you remember?
I mean, Unreal is just easier to use than the other ones we looked at. We use Unreal 4 because it has tessellation, and Unreal 5 doesn't. And we use tessellation a lot.
Yeah, and Unity's good. It's a good. I mean, there's all that crap that happened with Unity, so thank you that we didn't do it. But yeah, so like we chose Unreal. I think it's a better engine for kind of the style of game we were wanting to make, which is this. So I think that's a core reason why Unreal, and then Unreal 4. Oh, good hell. Yeah, it does get harder. So it scales with the players, and then it scales, as you can see, because I was a moron and just sat there. Scales based off of, so tutorial's a lot easier than corruption. Corruption's a lot easier than 2 and 3. We're fighting on Infestation, and we suck, so we can't beat our own game. But yeah, you want to try Infestation again?
Up to you, man.
I might go.
It's harder, but if we get runes from it, the runes will be a higher level, so you can get stronger.
Yeah, I
so
might go Barbarian.
whatever you want.
And you can pick the same character, so you can have 2 of the same character if you can't tell. So we can both be the Barbarian. So I'm gonna go him. All right, let's try it again. He's a little tankier, and I keep sucking with the ice mage. All right, but yeah, it's a huge pain to swap, and so yeah, if you're making a mobile game, that's cool. Props, by the way, for making a mobile game in Unreal Engine 5. But yeah, optimization. I don't know enough about Unreal 5. I know like they did the. Yeah, I don't want to call it Lumos, so it's Harry Potter. The the whole lighting. I just blanked the name.
Lumen.
Lumen, not Lumos. The Lumen, a bunch of stuff that I know will be valuable with time to have in the engine. I don't know. I think, again, we're already knee deep, and the tessellation was only in. They don't have tessellation in Unreal 5, right?
Well, they're supposedly adding it in the newer version. They're adding it back in. But so right now, not really.
Yeah, and our game depends on that. So that's a core reason. But yeah. No, it's definitely, I mean, what's crazy about game development, and I'd be curious to hear actually Kyle's take on this. So, been in software for years. I was a data scientist at Google, to starting, software company and stuff like that. But like, dude, I feel like game development is it's crazy because you have to have you put in so much effort at the beginning. You have to have like a fully beautiful finished product, tons of iteration, tons of time. I don't know. It's props to anybody that does it. And I'm not trying to say it to it's more just like, I don't know. Kyle, would you say it's a bit harder than doing software? In some ways?
It's definitely different. I mean, games, it's harder to have the halfway finished product. I mean, there's like early access and things, but it's more of they're more long-term, larger projects. A lot of other software jobs will have smaller projects, so it's less of a giant leap from milestone to milestone.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't know Lumen and Nanite don't work for mobile. I wonder. I mean, mobile is pretty simplistic. So I wonder if it's just I don't know if it's a polygon problem.
I don't know. I mean, their Nanite doesn't even work perfectly in 5.3 just for PC either. So it's still just they're still just ironing out
lots of
the
bug
kinks,
issues,
finishing it.
Yeah, video games are like paintings, dude. They are crazy because I mean, this is one of the things like why I love making these videos, but it's fascinating to think about video games because it's such a, from like an outside looking in, right? Like, so you take like the business side. There's so much money in video games, and it's why, and it's really changed almost in just like the past 10, 15 years. I mean, there was money before that, don't get me wrong, but like the amount of money in video games has skyrocketed. And so it's changed a ton from being this, I think, a little bit more siloed community, and also, do you want to kill these guys up here first before we?
Sure.
But like, it's a little bit more siloed, a little bit more of an artistic developer run to much more business run, right, in the past 10, 15 years because of the amount of money and the amount of investment. So it does feel like, I mean, it's the reason why I think indies are the future for a variety of reasons, but like one of them is that, right? It's art, and it's really hard to commercialize, and like, you can commercialize art, but like it's hard to create repetitive quality, beautiful art when it's like business driven, because they're always looking for efficiency, and video games just, I think that's the thing I would say about creating a game. It's inefficient, right? Like software, I feel like is a lot more efficient. It's a lot more cyclical. It's a lot more like we would build and go talk to people, and it's like, does this solve the problem you want? It's like, yes, no, great. Like, yes, next step, right? Where like games, it's not, it's much more ethereal, right? Does this bring the value? And sometimes it's hard to just like know exactly what players want, and because again, it's like, it's hard to distinguish what is and isn't like that core, that love, that artistic view, right? So John Carmack has said making games is harder than making rocket ships. I haven't seen that quote. I'd be interested to see that, but like, I feel like there's something to be said about that. It's just like, again, it's art. It's that's the complexity. That's why, like, even in my own videos, things have changed. In certain perspectives that I have, it's. I'm not picking my talents, by the way. 1 sec, let me pick my talents. I guess I'll go all leap. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's, I don't know, it is hard, and it really is you have to shift your brain, and I'm constantly like, okay, like our game looks pretty, we got music, things are going, I have fun, but it's like, okay, what is it about this game that, like, I love? How can we just ramp that up? How can we change and make it so that, you know, not that we just love it, but that, like, other people love it? Like, it's, again, like rocket science is still science, right? Like 1 + 1 = 2. Now there's physics and all these sorts of issues that are complicating it, and don't get me wrong, like that's crazy, ridiculous, and difficult, but it's like there is a process and pattern, and you have to go find it. I feel like art, though, is it's humanistic, and so there's no way to calculate unless you're like mobile games, right? A lot of mobile games, it's like the way that they're finding so much success, it's like they just prey on human behaviors and like patterns and addictions and stuff like that. So it's like if you're trying to make a truly great game that really plays into, I feel like that love and that artistic stuff, like that is so hard to it's hard to repeat, right? And so, and I think that's the nature of it. But I didn't even read which one is this. Oh,
I didn't look.
I'm gonna die. I'm dead. But yeah, indie game development is always amazing to watch, right? I think that's why people like devlogs, right? Oh, you got me back as I'm sitting here with my hands on my... right, people love devlogs. Part of it, I think, is just... I mean, it's fascinating to watch people make games, don't get me wrong, but I think it's just... I don't know. It's an interesting thing. But yeah, it's in collab, right? Like that's kind of my belief. It encompasses so many other types of art. Because I mean, like what do we got here? You got visual, we got music. You have, I mean, so you got a 3D art, you got 2D art, you have what else am I missing? You got UI, so you got like UI, UX when it comes to like just there's so many elements from, I don't know, there's so many pieces to it. So yeah, it really is crazy how many pieces of art it combines. And I would argue coding development is an art form, right? Like people do it differently, how a game gets built and put together. And, you know, you may not be able to see it, but like you do see the outcome later on, right? Code, there's something we said about code. So, but yeah, all games are different, but a lot of modern games, you're literally creating a world. Like, yeah, it's, I mean, even some of these older games, I'm trying to think like, you know, some of these older games were even just text-based. Like, you think about the worlds that they created. Where'd you go, Kyle? Oh, there you go.
I went down here.
But you think about like, oh, there's a shrine down there. I just pulled a bunch of items. Yeah, you know, you think about the world. It's even back then, even though you couldn't see them visually. And I mean, that's like D&D, right? That's something that I haven't really done D&D, and that's, I don't know. That's one of those things where I'd like to get more into it. I know I've had a few people I won't want to do it, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, rocket science is completely objective. Video games aren't, and that's beautifully said. Let me come down here and get the shrines. But yeah, beautifully said. I think that is the differentiating factor. Is it, and that's the thing I think why people get really pissed about AI art, because it's like what makes art or like profound or emotional. It's not what you're looking at. I think it's, I don't know, it's that human experience of making it to the human experience of experiencing it, right? So anyways, but yeah, anyway, so yeah, the audio goes even deeper than just music. It goes, yeah, atmospheric, right? Like if I sit here, I don't know. I think I have the music, I have the audio turned down. Like the music is meant to kind of have this play into that atmosphere. And in this map, there actually will rain sometimes, so you can hear the rain. Right now it's not raining. But we do have it, so like you'll hear the rain and it's built into the music and stuff like that. So I think all that plays into it, right? Where is this shrine? Is it hidden?
It's over in the corner.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, black. Cool. Yeah, hitting, walking, running. Yeah, dude, all that stuff. I mean, you can hear like the throw, the jump, the little whoosh of the spinning, and like it makes the game definitely feel more impactful, right? It's like, and I would even say, like, you think about YouTube. Right, so you guys watch a lot of the YouTube videos. YouTube is really, this is really important in the YouTube space. Because if you just rip back a lot of those layers of the videos that I do, right, take out the music, take out some of the sound effects. And I can always do a better job, don't get me wrong. But like, you start ripping that apart, ripping that away, and it gets a lot more boring and bland. And so it's crazy how each piece is vital and like, which one am I doing? Gold collector. So I'll wait. But yeah, each piece is vital and it plays an important role, right? So yeah, that's an interesting point. So when would you use AI? Like, I use AI. So AI is really good. I think, so don't misunderstand. I think there's this idea of AI bad. AI is good, I think, for instructional stuff and in helping people. Like, a good example, us. So can I pull up art? But yeah, so we have art. I'm not an artist. Kyle, who's here with me, is not an artist. Right? I think we're an artist in different ways, but when in the definition of art is like drawing and stuff like that. So we used AI art to then convey relatively what we were looking for to our 2D artist, right? Like, and so that is a prime example of like using AI art by people that don't know art to convey what they're looking for. And we can ready up, but basically the way I think about AI and the way I think people should think about AI art, it's meant to help the non-experts give the experts an understanding of what they're looking for, right? And it's oftentimes, that's the hardest part about, you know, you're getting into game dev or getting into any kind of world. You are not an expert, and a lot of times you can see why something is good or why something is bad. But I have the point that I always like to make. It's like, you may be able to see if something's wrong, you can't explain why. And usually the answer is because you're not an expert, right? And so that's what an expert is somebody that can not only see that there's something wrong, maybe with your code or your illustration or whatever it is, but can explain why, right? And so to me, that's the core piece of like the value of AI is almost to, oh man, I'm getting screwed sitting there in the middle. The value of AI is to help like the non-experts maybe even communicate with the experts. So I think that there's a lot of value to it. It's just not, I mean, again, the problem with AI though is like the abuse of copyright and all these other things that I think we'll be learning. But yeah, I did a game jam recently with our community. I just saw the game jam comment, so I was getting pwned by a boss. Yeah, you're full-time senior web dev. Recently gone to the Godot course. Super fun. I haven't done Godot personally, but I think I know a lot of people are getting really into it. Seems like it's kind of more accessible, more baseline place to start. So that's awesome. I appreciate it. Burger Burger Toucher. His name's the Burger Toucher. Appreciate the love. But one of our streams, this is like the first ever streams. So why do our streams only have 9 viewers? I've never really done it. This is my second time doing it. So solid reason one. Probably not the best streams, right? Learning how to do it, like anything. You know, improve, make it better. So, and then I'd argue probably a lot of people don't know me, right? So the videos are interesting, but nobody knows who I am or why the hell they should care. And so I think there's that nuance of like streamers are much more of a personality, where I would say people probably like my videos, but they're like, why tune in? You know, you don't know the guy. And so that's part of the reason why I've been wanting to do streaming and wanting to do this more. I mean, by nature of, I run a software company and, you know, run the studio and I do a variety of things, but it's like, I want to actually start focusing a lot more time on this and actually helping game devs, helping more people. So like, yeah, so like, hopefully these will get better. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I mean, just started this. So solid question. Let's see, which one do we want to go to?
Soul Reaper's harder, but the gold drought means way less gold. So I don't know.
Let's go Soul Reaper because I need gold.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So AI makes, and I'm seeing your comment here about like use for or against it, but like AI is one of those things where it does level out the playing field in some capacity, right? Because and that's the cool thing, where if we're saying video games at its heart is arts, but it has so much complexity that it has this huge barrier to entry. And so if somebody that was really had a beautiful vision but can't actually execute on it, right? And so like there's this barrier and this limitation. And so it's like, if you could lower that barrier, that means you can have more creativity, which is why, by the way, indies are taking off, because they actually have, it's more accessible to make games than ever. And so the really creative, artistic people have more capacity, more ability to make these games. And so AI will just make that better. But I think there's the nature and the complexity of AI right now is it, you know, again, it abuses other people's work to train these models. And so that's kind of the no-no. But it's like, if it didn't do that, and instead, maybe not even that, maybe artists that were helping train these models got paid, right? And so I think it'll be interesting to see over time how that changes. So do I think there can be AI artists? Yeah, for sure. I think based off what I just said, I think there can be artists, like their whole goal is training, right? They create beautiful art and they make money off of training models, right? So, and by models I mean like these language models, like I don't know if that's the best way to classify it. I don't know if they're language models. Art model. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but so you train these models, right? And so I could definitely see somebody's job being training models, and because they have an issue right now with proprietary stuff with AI, right? Because people's art is being used to train this AI, and they aren't being paid for it. So that's a core problem. So yeah, I can definitely see there being AI artists, but yeah, you gotta have a direct conversation. I know, swinging back to our earlier point, like part of the reason why I want to do streams, it's like I wanted to help game devs. That was kind of the whole reason I started this. And I already played video games. It'd be fun to just do it on streaming. so we can talk about, like, this stuff is fun. It's fun. This stuff's fun to talk about. So, and it's like, I have stuns. So I was trying to figure out what was happening there. But yeah, like, this is my area of expertise. Like, I have lots of experience in this world, right? Like, we talked about, like, why is there a huge shift right now into AI? Because, like, every investor I know, you know, so there's all these people in the investment world, they're all jumping onto AI. And, you know, why is EA talking about AI being used in their games? They sound like morons. But it's like, probably not for players, probably because they're trying to say stuff to investors so they can get more money, right? So there's like, bunch of interesting behaviors going on in the gaming world based around like stuff like that. So, but welcome, Metal Dude. What do I think about YouTubers getting into game publishing? Dude, that's an interesting question because it's like it depends. Depends on so Donkey, right? So he does video game publishing. His first game, Animal Well, blew up, took off. So publishing is an interesting thing because like what's the point of publishing? Publishing is a service of some kind to help game developers get off the ground, right? The service encompasses marketing. What else is it? You know, maybe it's money. Maybe they give them capital, right? Maybe the publishing is helping them localize their game. So it's a variety of things, right? So like, why you get a publisher for these things? But I'd argue one of the best things a publisher can do, and what most indie devs need is oftentimes just awareness. Right, so if your game is good, and by the way, I'm actually going to have a video come out probably this week, and that's its own story. I'm actually launching a separate channel that's heavily focused on just business for game devs. So I just told you that right now, but that'll be happening soon. But in that video, I talk about this exact question, not necessarily from a publishing standpoint, but it's like, what's the value of a publisher? Well, the value of a publisher is to help you navigate the business side of game development, right? Because you're meant to be the creative person. And there's probably some other development things they help with, but one of the core things is marketing, and one of the core things is awareness, right? And the other thing is trust. So it's like, if you get your game published by Devolver, right? That's like a really trusted publisher. And so there's an element of that to YouTubers to kind of swing this back. Like YouTubers, some not, it depends, but some have a lot of trust, right? Oh, good hell. That's a ton of guys. And so I think there's potential value out of a YouTuber being a publisher, but like if they only can bring awareness, which is like just views, that's good, but that person shouldn't be a publisher, is my argument. So a YouTuber that can only bring awareness, that I think there's other ways to drive awareness, and it's not worth giving up a big chunk of your game purely for some views. Because even if you get the views, like if your game sucks or nobody cares or nobody trusts you, all these things, like people aren't gonna buy. Like people conflate awareness or views, believing that's gonna be the thing that is separating them from being successful. It's like, that's not the case, right? There's multiple layers to taking people from like first in your game all the way down to buying. So that's why I think big YouTubers getting to game publishing can be great, but also it's like, may not. So it depends on their background. So good to have you, Diesel. Hello. Why don't you say artists do the same thing using another piece of media to make their own, kind of like how AI does it? Dude, what am I dying to? I'm dying to the whirlwind. I mean, so that's a good question, right? Like, so what is the difference between human versus, AI copying, right? Because the idea is, and you're right, we all kind of copy each other's work in some sense, right? An artist will look at somebody else and then make something of their own. So how do we say, what is the difference? I think for one thing, making it your own, and I guess you could say AI art is doing that. I mean, I don't know. It's actually, I'm like sitting here thinking about it. It's like, is it necessarily a bad thing? I guess, let me say it this way. And Kyle, I don't know if you actually want to give an opinion on this, because I'm thinking about it, but I think the difference is, and I guess we like other humans, we don't like machines. So I think there's that element, right? So like if you get in a crash with a Tesla that's driving itself, or let's say like a family member dies from a car that's self-driving, we get way more angry in some sense as a society. Maybe not individually, but as a society, and it's way bigger news than if somebody gets killed by another person. And so I think there is that complexity where just like believing that like a corporation or machine or whatever it is taking your art versus an individual taking it and tweaking it, right? Versus, you know, again, versus a machine doing that. I think there's some of it is just there's a human aspect to that. I don't know, Kyle, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be that. I feel like it could just be more just coming down to money. You know, people, they want to get paid if AR is based on their stuff. If someone's, you know, getting inspiration or copying some of their own previous work to make something for a new job, well, the person's paying them for the new job.
And I think scale too. Yeah, now that you say that, it's like the scale of AI, right? Like it takes in, like there's no human being that can take in petabytes worth of art and recreate it. You know what I mean? The human can only do so much. So I think the idea of human copying is a lot more limited than AI. So maybe that's probably some kind of element. But yeah, without a doubt, I don't talk to a whole lot of devs. So yeah, the thing about like devs, and I always say this, the people you talk to, there's so much variance, right? Like, so I'm going to be a very different person to talk to than, let's say, Kyle, which is why I like having Kyle on, even though I seem to be talking 98% of the time right now. But like, for like dev questions, like Kyle knows a lot more than me, way more than me, right? Like he's been a full stack web developer since like 13. I don't know how accurate that is now, but kind of close enough. I mean, he went to college at 16, so I mean that's ridiculous. Studying computer science, so it's like he's gonna have a very different perspective than I will. And then I always say this, like, yeah, like if you're gonna talk to an accountant, they're gonna give you a very interesting perspective. A lawyer's gonna give you, a different perspective. An entrepreneur, a developer, everyone is gonna have a very different perspective on things. So it's more of a question of like, what perspective is gonna bring you closest to the answer you're looking for, and like what perspective do you not share that can give you like the biggest change in lens that you don't have. And I think that those are some interesting questions to consider, right? And so but yeah, did we make our game using C++ or blueprints? Both, but I would say probably mostly blueprints. I don't know, Kyle, you probably have a better take on that.
Yeah, we use both. Majority is blueprints, but I mean, some things are easier in blueprints, some things can't be done in blueprints. You have to use C++. It just kind of depends on the situation.
Yeah. I mean, I know some C++, but I'm a moron compared to Kyle. But yeah, dude, good to see you, John. I know your real name, but JW Dude. Good to have you, buddy. And we're just chatting about AI and stuff like that. Let's see. I might go Brawler. So because I picked this gold collector, I get more gold, right? I'm trying to remember what that quest does.
If you hit tab and go to the quests, it'll say...
Oh, it's just global cooldown? Doesn't tell me. I forgot. Why isn't it showing me?
I don't know, maybe that one's bugged.
I thought we had it in here. Alright, well, never mind. I can't remember what that quest does. But yeah, so we just finished the second. Might want to change the name of the stream. Change the name of what? The game? Let's see what it was. That hurt. with the chat. Props to anybody that does that. It's crazy. For example, yeah, having self-checkouts versus cashiers, they lose their jobs but open new ones. Yeah, and so yeah, that's. AI is an interesting one, right? Like anything. I mean, so you can always use the example of like Industrial Revolution, right? Brought people away from farms into the city, new jobs, took away jobs, brought new jobs. I think we'll be seeing a huge shift in society. Man, we are destroying them. Why are we so tanky? I think I just picked a really tanky build, but so I think there's that element, right? And I can't. That's the problem. It's like I think by nature of my brain, I think very. Like I try to balance the emotional side. I like how does this impact other people? But then there's also like kind of that logical side, which like, okay, well, things are going to progress anyways. What does that mean? How do you then help people kind of move into that new shift and change of the world when it comes to dev, or sorry, I'm looking at the chat, when it comes to AI. And so I think, yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah, the complexity of that here. Which one do you want to do? Let's go Snow World.
Nice. Yeah.
So, but yeah, you want to change your name? No, you're good, dude. Your dev name. But yeah, the blueprints are really great. So shift back to that. Like blueprints really are awesome. I mean, people aren't as good. I think at C++ you can be able to make a lot of your game and get it actually functioning, and then you can probably learn a lot more C++. You know, for the things that you aren't working and need to figure it out. So, but yeah, the AI is an interesting thing, right? Because I mean, I'll use this example. Like, so when I first started first software company, you know, my very first company, it started it as it was like a software to help students with disabilities, right? So it was students that were deaf. And it's a long story short. The people that were in charge of, like, let's say, having this software for institutions that would buy it, like their job was also to be a transcriptionist. And so what does that mean, right? Like if our software basically would transcribe what's being said by the teacher and send it to like the student's phone, right? And we would go to these people and be like, hey, you know, this great software is going to help solve this problem, blah, blah, blah. But like they wouldn't adopt it because even though, as let's say the students wanted it or whatever it is, because it would take away part of their job. And so it's always the nature and nuance and the complexity of like any kind of shifting markets. It's like you dealt with it right there. Even though like the school and students would benefit from, let's say, adopting this kind of software that allowed them to have a better experience in class or whatever it is, and there's maybe nuance to that, but like it doesn't matter, right? They wouldn't adopt it because they're the ones in charge of it, and they got rid of part of their job. So like understanding that's going to be some of the complexity with AI. It's like even if it's going to do better, there's going to be a lot of people's jobs, and there's nuance and negativity to like taking people's jobs, and you got to figure that out. So yeah, you think AI is cool overall? The main issue is just, yeah, license art. Yeah, I think that's going to be some complexity that, well, either these companies will be sued and they'll just take the lawsuit, you know, lose hundreds of millions of dollars and be totally fine because they'll make billions on the other end, which sucks, right? That happens a lot. The companies just like will eat the cost of a lawsuit, but because they'll make a lot more money breaking the law. So there's like, oh, we're at the top of the map. So there's again, like this is the thing. It's like there's the humanistic element of it. There's like where's the company coming from, and like are they being honest or not? There's there's so many layers. So it's like, yeah, the complexity of the morality, the progression of an industry. And so I think But yeah, some artists I've seen can't remove the emotion from their argument. I don't want an argument that the art is more important than farming. And that's, again, it's like, I get it, right? Like, the emotion, it's hard to remove emotion if all of a sudden, like, that's your livelihood in the span of almost no time. You're losing your livelihood to something that feels inanimate and, like, you can't bring it back. So it's like, that sucks and that's scary, right? And so understanding that there is that humanistic piece, and it's like, you don't want to stop the forwarding of progression of something, but at the same time, it's how do you help people do that and still be, I don't know, it's again, it's complex. So yeah, of course, yeah, like anything, like think about the Industrial Revolution, and you think about how much that progressed life, right? From cars to all these other things, but it's like, it's scary to lose. I mean, like, if we even want to bring it closer to home, like, think about, like, not even individuals, but, like, entities, right? Google is so behind the times in AI because they're super scared of AI was going to destroy their primary business model, which is, like, the search engine. And so you sit there and, like, unpack that. It's like, it's from businesses down to humans, right? Anything that, like, is going to cannibalize or destroy your current way of living, like, people don't like that. So, like, I would have bet AI would have taken a lot longer to come about if it wasn't for OpenAI, right, and a third party, because Google wasn't incentivized to have AI be around, at least not yet, till they figured out a better model for, for revenue. So, like, yeah, so it's hard, right? Hard to remove emotion. Hard to figure out what to do, right? So the complexity of all of that, but yeah. So people are talking about a lot about using AI for art, part of their game. Yeah, I mean, and I don't. That's the thing. As somebody that is not, like, as artistic, like, it's one of those things where I don't have as much emotion tied to it, but I can see people not liking people using AI art in their game, right? So, like, I can see both sides. I can see the beauty of AI, of, like, again, you're able to make a game a lot faster. You're able to make something that's, like, maybe you can skip a lot of these hard pieces. Like, if you're a solo developer and you suck at drawing, like, it's going to be really hard to make a game, right, on your own. Like, AI art could help you circumvent that, and then you could be able to, just maybe you're really good at coding and you have such a cool gameplay loop, something that people are going to love. So it's one of those things where, like, but at the same time, it's like at the expense of what? Like, is this model you're using, using other people's stuff? So, I don't know. It's hard. Yeah, nobody had an issue with ChatGPT when it comes to books and writing and stuff. I mean, there's definitely some people that have issues that write blogs for a living. They got some issues, but I think the sentiment, though, is pretty true. People care a little bit less, or a lot less, about, like, written word and writing stuff than they do about maybe, like, drawing physical art, or at least the way we classify art. So yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, the hard thing with AI, it's humanistic. Kyle, you want to jump to the next? Are you still looking at?
Yeah, I'm done. Just looking at that.
But yeah, no. Again, it's, and that's the nature of this conversation, right? It's like, this is how I wish conversations would take place majority of the time. Conversations should be probably more nuanced, and then you sit there and go, okay, so what are the positives? What are the negatives? How can we try to mitigate, minimize the negatives while maximizing the positives? and that should be probably more of the approach that people should take. But it's a lot easier to get behind simplistic talking points, right? It's the nature of politics and anything else, right? It's easier to get behind a simplistic, easy to understand talking point, like AI bad or AI good. But but yeah, cool. Trying to think. I know we've been on AI for a bit, but yeah, if you guys have seems to be that was the topic, but I'm trying to think of. I mean, I love talking about it, but I mean, I guess if you want to talk about like AI and like how it's gonna impact things. Oh, you out? Good to see you, John. See you, buddy. Have you seen the AI that's crafting 3D models? It's not super great. Yeah, I saw that. Like anything, like it could in a year be incredible, right? You think about in the past year how much ChatGPT has come and Midjourney, how far these come. So it's like pretty crazy how fast things can change. So then the question is like, okay, if that's the case, how do you differentiate your game? So let's imagine people start using AI art in their game. Like, how do you differentiate when there's like 20, 30, 40,000 games that all have like pretty art styles? They look good, and this guy was over here just bugged, hitting nothing. So yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I'm curious to see how that's gonna impact. Oh, do you have to stay in it? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta stay in this shrine to get the rewards. Ooh, I got double leap. But yeah, with the stream, we'll probably normally I'm gonna try to do the stream probably an hour or so. So probably in the next little bit, shut it off. But like, I don't know if you guys got any ideas, like that'd be the last thing I'd say. It's like totally more new to the streaming game. Got any ideas for you guys like me to talk about, like me to play? Fire away. Right, I'm much more of a. I've been doing videos and I get that, but streaming's a little bit newer. Let's see. Sweet. And so there's items. So anybody that's like didn't hear me earlier, but you have all sorts of stuff in the game from meta progression, from talents. You like, man, I really went lead build, but you get stronger as the run goes on with quests and talents, but like there's other stuff like runes and other things that are gonna make you get stronger outside of the run.
Yeah. Almost 3,000 health with items.
Really? Oh yeah, you got a ton of health. I do not. I got a lot of shit stuff. But yeah, the arguments. Yeah, how difficult it is to write that, the model. Yeah, I mean there's a reason why there's only a few people doing it, right? So it's only big companies and ChatGPT, right? So who was funded with billions of dollars. So it's like, yeah, the amount. On top. Yeah, the complexity and all, that's the thing. It's like the complexity in doing this is, and oh, I'm getting distracted. I mean, and how much is probably going to benefit us? I don't know. AI's, and there's smarter people than me to talk about this, right? Who know a lot more about AI. I mean, Kyle, I don't know. I've been talking. You got any quick thoughts on like? Thoughts? And, oh, real quick, is this game permadeath type of game where you die in the run? Yeah, if you die, the run's over. So it's like a roguelite where you do get stuff in the run, but like to help you in future runs. In that sense, like we just won, so that was 3 acts, 3. So and we won, and we are adding a layer so to our game. We actually have, it's still in its early states. We can show you if you want. Kyle, I don't know if you want to. We can show them.
Yeah, sure.
So it's in its very early stages, but the idea is that you do the 3 runs and you actually fight like a super boss that you can maybe beat, maybe, but it's like you get to see how good your build is. Basically, you get to test it on like a super boss. So it's the ultimate challenge. So you basically have one, you can leave, or you can go fight like this crazy difficult boss that it doesn't scale with your leveling. Like tutorial is gonna be tutorial level. No, it's like always max level difficulty. But there's still bugs and stuff. So, but yeah, the idea is there's permadeath in the game. You do get some stuff though for your next run. Sorry, Kyle, I cut you off. What were you gonna say about I don't know, AI models and AI and stuff? I'd like to. What do you got?
Pretty much just everything you said. I agree with. It's. I don't know. I don't know if I really have anything to add that you haven't gone over.
And so this guy, we actually have a different model being made. I feel like if I could show my screen of that, but we have a character that's being made. That we're making right now. That's going to be our super boss. So same thing. Me and Kyle aren't the artists, so we're actually having somebody else help with that. Make a model of it, but can you still stagger him? I know we were trying to puzzle that. But yeah, so right now everything's pretty simplistic. The idea is that the boss will have a lot more. I wouldn't say it's like Elden Ring, but like a lot more phases for the bosses and stuff like that. So right now everything's a little more simplistic.
Yeah, it'll be a 3-stage boss fight.
So yeah, it's kind of where the game's at right now. But you can see his health bar. He just does not die. But it doesn't feel like I'm really losing health. So I think we've made it too easy. I don't know. Oh, as I say that, I'm going to die. Yeah, I heard about what's going on with Dr. Disrespect. Well, the mustache, you know, I've had it for a while. So, before all this came out, but I don't wear the sunglasses, I don't wear all the other stuff, so I think people can probably differentiate, but yeah, probably not the best thing going on. I don't know all the details, so I'm not going to say anything, but I just know probably not the greatest stuff going on. So, but yeah, the mustache, I don't know. The mustache is iconic to Dr. Disrespect, but I mean, is his real? I don't know if I can. I'm not sure if it is. Might be. But I mean, it's one of those things where. But yeah, balancing for you is hard. Yeah, dude, balancing. I mean, this is a PvE game, right? And the balancing is hard. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to deal with how players interact. So PvP games, it's props to anybody that is balancing right for those games. I don't know, Kyle. I know you got any thoughts on balancing?
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of work. The problem with balancing, like our game at the moment, is we still have a bunch of enemies to add, a bunch of other content that will change the balance. So it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, we're adding more characters and stuff, so that adds enemies and characters, that adds complexity. But yeah, so is it like Tarkov, where you keep the stuff in your vault after you die? Yeah, so you keep. I mean, you don't keep items. You don't keep your items because that's just run only, right? Your talents, right? That's just run only. You pick up runes. So there's certain things that you do pick up, like right now it's called Essence. I think we're gonna change it to Souls. But like a lot of that stuff you do keep. So and so that's like if you cannot beat a level, right? Like a difficulty level. If you fight maybe. If you just play it multiple times, get some more runes, it might make you stronger than you can finally actually like have the goods to actually beat it. So it's not a pure roguelike, right? Like, it's not a pure game where it's like you die and it's straight up normal death. But this guy's taking forever. I think. But anyways, well, I think probably I might just die. So I'll just die, Kyle. But so we'll probably end the stream here. But yeah, I want to do this. Probably just start with like try to stream every Wednesday is the goal. I want to start streaming more, play my game, playing other things, but then probably want to do more streams for like developers and stuff, specifically to like really just nail some things for developers. So cool. Thanks everybody. Peace.